A couple of days ago, I randomly came across this video in Instagram and I found it very interesting and wanted to implement it in Python. So let's watch a part of it together first.
This will blow your mind. Start by drawing 3 points in the shape of a triangle. To start us off, choose a point anywhere within this triangle. Now we'll draw more points by repeating 2 simple rules over and over. The first rule tells us to randomly select one of the original 3 points. For example, suppose we choose 3. The second rule tells us to move halfway from the point we just drew toward the selected point and draw another point. Now we repeat the 2 rules from the point we just drew. Randomly select one of the original 3 points. Suppose we choose 1 this time. Move halfway from the point we just drew toward point number 1 and draw another point. Now we'll repeat once again. After each new point, we'll randomly select one of the original 3 points, move halfway toward it, and draw another point. The question is, what happens if we draw hundreds or even thousands of points using these 2 simple rules over and over?
Okay, let's model it with an example. Let's say that we have this triangle with these 3 edges. The coordinates of the edges are fully optional. You can choose whichever edges that you want as long as they actually form a triangle with one another. So let's see how the point generation would look like. The first point would be this random point that we choose that should lie somewhere inside the triangle. Okay, from now on, for generating each of the new points, we are going to continuously perform the 2 steps as described in the video. So first, for example, let's say that we want to generate the second point. We first need to choose one edge at random. Let's say that in this case it's B. Then we are going to use the last generated point, and we are going to find the point that lies in the middle of these 2 points. And this is going to be our newly randomly generated point. Then we are going to just continue in this fashion and generate points. So for example, let's say that for the third point we randomly choose C, then we use the last randomly generated point to find the new one, the new point, which is in the middle of the 2, and we just continue in this fashion and generate more points. Okay, let's code it in Python. I have already imported the random library, which we are going to use for edge selection, and also the edges and the initial random point from the example that we just saw are also already defined here. And at the end, I have initialized 2 storage lists for x and y coordinates of the points, and I have pre-filled them with the coordinates of the edges and the initial random point. Now when we create new points, we are going to fill these 2 storage lists with the x and y coordinates of the new ones. Cool. Let's now write a function to find the middle points. So the function should take 2 points, and the format of the points will be like this, which is a list with 2 elements, the first element showing the x coordinate and the second element showing the y coordinate. And our function should return basically the average of both coordinates, x and y coordinates of the 2 points. So we're going to code it like this, and we first do it for the x values. We sum them and then divide them by 2, and then we do the very same for the y coordinates, and that should be it. So let's also test our function for 2 points like 0 and 0, 2 and 2, and we get the point in middle correctly. So our function is working properly and we can move on. Okay, let's now code the rest of the algorithm. So we first need to know the total number of points. Let's say that we have a variable n for it. Then we need to loop n times, and in each iteration we are going to do 2 steps. First we are going to choose an edge at random, and that we are going to do using the random library. And then we need to find the middle point. So we will do that using the function that we wrote above. So it will be the middle point between the last generated point and the new randomly chosen edge. And we just then need to update the x and y storage lists with the respective coordinates of the newly generated points. And that should be it. Just that we also need to plot the results, and for that we will need to import the matplotlib library, and we need to do a scatter plot of the x and y coordinates. Now let me also move this block to here, so that in each time that I run this, the x and y storages will be restored to the initial values. Let's test it for 100 generated points. It will look like this, which does not show any specific patterns. Let's increase the number of generated points to 500 and rerun it. Now we can already see kind of a pattern emerging, but it's still not that very clear. Let's increase it much higher. Let's say that we will do that for 25,000 generated points, and our result would look like this and show this magnificent pattern just arising from some randomly generated points. We will always get to this pattern, and this pattern will also emerge regardless of the edges and also the initial random point. We will always see this pattern. Now with that, this tutorial also comes to an end. I will post the codes on my website and then share the link in the captions of this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in my next tutorial.